Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. So as you see on the thumbnail, the theme for this week is the power of the 0.618 or the 1,618. What is the significance of this 0.618 and the 1,618 number? So briefly, obviously, this is a weekly analysis, so I won't go into detail on how we look at it. I'll just give you a brief overview of where the 0.618 and the 1,618 comes from and some of the related Fibonacci levels that most people use mindlessly without understanding where they come from. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of where that comes from and how that was discovered and how that relates to trading or the Forex charts or any other market chart. Okay, but before we get started, if you're watching for the first time, make note of the timestamps. This helps a lot. If you go to the description of any of my videos, just go to my channel here. I just want to get this. If you go to my channel here and you click on any of my videos, you will, if you open any of the videos and you go to show more tab under the description, you will find timestamps for all the pairs that we discuss here. So if you're not interested in all the pairs, you can just go to a specific pair that you're interested in. You just click on it and it will take you directly to where the analysis for that pair starts. And you will also find under the description my contact details. That is my email address there, my mobile number, which you can use via Telegram or WhatsApp, as well as my Telegram channel. This Telegram channel is specifically for sending out the live webinar links. So if you're interested in attending the live webinars, you'll find the link there. You'll also find the live link on my Facebook profile. Just look out for my, search out for my names here on Facebook. If you want the live webinar links, I usually send it about 2 to 3 hours before the webinar starts on a Sunday. Right, so that's where you'll find all those details. So this is the last webinar for this year. We will resume again with the webinars on the 12th of January. That is the second week of January next year. For those that are still interested in buying the course to study or learn it over the festive holidays, you can still do so before the end of this year. Make note that after next year, everything is going to change. The structure of the course, the price of the course is going to change. The course price is going up next year. We've kept the price virtually the same for the past 3 years. So we're going to have some changes in the next year. So if you're purchasing the course before the end of the year, you will still get the old benefits. So if you're purchasing before the end of the year, you'll still get the 2 years subscription in the group. That's as per the structure for this year. So, but everything from the 1st of January changes. That the access to the Slack group will only be 6 months. After that, there will be a subscription on a monthly basis. But if you're joining before the end of the year, you'll still get to stay in the group for 2 years for free. And then the benefit that you get in the Slack group is the daily market analysis webinars. You find daily market analysis webinar, trade setups, and interaction with over 470 traders in the room, all trading using the Elliott Wave theory. Okay, so that is how you can do that. So for more information, you can contact me via my email or my mobile number, as you'll see there. Everything is listed there. So the next course will start from the 3rd of February 2020. You can still attend that with this year's price. Okay, so let's get started now. Let's talk about the power of the 0.618. Okay, the power of the 0.618. Before I do trade recaps, we'll do the trade recaps just now. I will just run through. I won't spend more than 10 minutes on this. So there are 3 ways to look at the 0.618, where the 0.618 comes from. But before we start with that, where was this developed? The 1.618, 0.618 came as follows. It was discovered by Fibonacci. Okay, a man called Fibonacci from Italy. He discovered this number sequence. But how did he discover the number sequence? What we all know is that there's a number sequence 1, 1, 2. You just add the previous number to the next and to get the next. So for example, here you'll just add 1 to the next number and then you get 3. For this one, you add this one, you add 2 to the previous number, which is 3, and then you get 5. and so forth. You go add 3 to 5, and then you get 8. You add 5 to 8, you get 13, and then you get 13 plus 8 giving you 21, and so the sequence goes 34 up until infinity. Usually we end up at 144, but this number sequence can go on and on. Everybody knows this number sequence. Where does it come from? So this number sequence comes from when Fibonacci, the Pisa, that means of Italy, he was trying to solve a certain problem, and the problem statement was this. So the question was, how many pairs of rabbits can be produced in a single year? Okay, how many pairs of rabbits can be produced in a single year from one pair of rabbit? Okay, we're starting with one pair of rabbit, and we want to know how many pairs of rabbits we can produce in a single year. So we're starting with one pair of rabbits, okay? And the condition is that this pair of rabbit takes 1 month to produce a single pair. Okay, so what we want to know is, if we're starting with one pair, starting with the first month, how long will it take us in a year? That is, in 12 months, how long will it take us to produce 12 pairs? No, not 12 pairs, rather. How many pairs can we produce in 12 months? Okay, so that is the problem statement. So in trying to solve the problem, this is the sequence, this is the process that Fibonacci followed in order to get to the solution. And we're going to get to that just now. So let me just repeat the problem statement for just for understanding purposes. You are starting with one pair of rabbits. Okay, it takes 1 month for this pair of rabbits to produce a pair. So any pair that is produced will take a month to produce another pair. Okay, so that is the process, that is the question, and that is the conditions. So now let's try to solve this problem. How long will it take us to produce? How many rabbits can be produced in a single year? So let's start. We're starting in the first month. This is the month. We're starting with a single pair, the first pair. Remember, the pair takes a month to produce. So in the second month, you're going to produce a pair from this one. In the third month, now you've got 2 pairs. So that means in the third month, you're going to produce 1 and 1, and then you're going to have 2 pairs. In the fourth month, again, you are going to produce the number of pairs that you see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is, let's just do this. This is the, just for to align this. This is the first month, second month, third month. Now in the third month, you're going to get 2 from this, 1 from this, and 1 from that, and then you get 5 pairs of rabbits. And so the sequence goes all the way up until you get to 12. Now, if you keep going on with this process up to the 12th month, you will see that eventually at the 12th month, you are going to have 144 pairs of rabbits. 144 pairs of rabbits. So in trying to solve that problem, we're using that sequence. Remember, we were not just following the sequence here, we were just trying to add up the number of rabbits that can be produced. We started with 1, it produced 1 in the second month. So we had 2 pairs in the second month. Okay, just a second. So this is the process that Fibonacci went through in trying to solve the problem, and eventually got 144 pairs of rabbits produced in a single year. And while trying to solve that, he came up with a sequence 1, 1, 2, and then you just keep adding the previous number, 5, 8, 13, 21, and up until 144. And you will see that as you go towards the end of this sequence, for example, let me just get this one here to behave. Let's have more space here. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, and 144. Now, if you go towards the end of the sequence, and if you keep dividing the previous, okay, let's continue, guys. All right, so that is the number sequence that we have there. So in trying to get, if you tried to divide the preceding number by its the previous number by its predecessor, for example, you divide 1 by 1 here, you're going to get 1. You get divide by 1 divided by 2, you get 0.5. You divide 3 divided by 2, you get 1.5. And then as you go towards the end of the sequence, just hold on a second. Yes. As you go towards the end of the sequence, if you divide 89 by 55, or rather let's start here, 55 divided by 34, you start getting 1.618. 89 divided by 55, you start getting 1.618. 44 divided by 89, you start getting 1.618 towards the end of the sequence. So this is how it starts, but towards the end of the sequence, it just becomes constant up until infinity. It becomes the 1.618. And if you do the inverse of this, and instead of dividing this one by its predecessor, you do the opposite now, the inverse of that. You say 1 divided by 2, you get 0.5. Let's do that. Let's clear this one up. Let's clear the bottom one. We do the inverse. Now, if you do the inverse, you're going to get 0.5, 0.6666. And then so when it goes towards the end as well, you said 34 divided by 55, you start getting 0.618. Now you're getting the inverse. You're getting the inverse. You're getting the inverse of that. The 0.618 stays constant. Now, what is the significance of this? What is this number called? This is called the golden ratio or the golden mean. So a number is said to be in a golden ratio or a golden mean if when you divide a line like this into two sections, say section A and section B. So the number is said, or the ratio is said to be in golden mean if the ratio of the smaller portion divided by the larger portion is exactly equals to the ratio of the larger portion divided by the total length. In this case, we're going to call the total length C. Only then is the number called to be said to be in golden ratio or in golden mean. And if a number is in golden ratio or in golden mean, that means it is at 0.618. And the inverse of that is 0.618 or 1.618. So there are three geometric ratios that that we find in the Fibonacci theory. One of them is the golden ratio, which you find from that. You also have the golden rectangle. The golden rectangle, I'm not going to spend time showing you how to develop the golden rectangle, but in what you do with the golden rectangle, you do that, you get the square, divide that by half, you calculate this length. Now this length, you call this one, you make every side have 2, the length of each side be 2. So if the length of each side is 2 here, you're going to calculate this one. So to calculate this length, this hypotenuse here, what you do is, we call that length, let's call that one X. And there's a bit of maths here, guys, so just bear with me. We're going to be done just now. So to calculate that X is X squared using the Pythagoras theorem, you're going to get, so remember here you've divided by half, so that's 1. So you're going to have 2 squared plus 1 squared, and all of that gives you the square root of 5. Okay? So that means this X is the square root of 5. So you take that length, the square root of 5, you add it here, and then you get this length. Now, if I clear out all of this, this is the golden rectangle. What you get there is the golden rectangle. So you've got this here. Let's get this one here. You've got that golden rectangle here. Now I'm going to show you why I'm doing this, because this is the important part after getting these ratios. Now, after getting the golden rectangle, you get what we call the golden spiral. Now, the golden spiral you find by doing this. On the golden rectangle, you start getting half circles like this. You start getting half circles like this. And that in that process, as you go on and on, you will start getting the golden spiral. Okay? So we've done three geometries here: the golden mean, which you find from dividing the line, the golden rectangle, which you find by the Pythagoras theorem, and then the golden spiral that you get from the golden rectangle. Now, I want to show you why we're looking at this. We're looking at this because everything in life is organized by that 618 number. For example, let's do this Fibonacci of a human anatomy. So the reason why I'm showing you this is to try and show you that everything in life follows the Fibonacci number. So we're going to look at the Fibonacci of the human body. Let's do that. Okay, so let's get this one. So this one is the easiest one that you can go and prove yourself right now where you're sitting. If you measure your length right now, you measure the length from the tip of your toes to your knees, and from your knees to your center will be your navel, which is your belly button. You are going to find that this is going to be 0,618, and this is going to be 0.38%. So from the tip of your toes to your center will be 100%. But your knees and your distance from your knees to your center is divided into 61.8%. That means it is in golden mean or in golden ratio. Interestingly is that from your navel to the tip of your head, you also divided exactly the same. Now, the center of a human is not from, it's obviously from the belly button, but not up until the tip of your hair, but rather up to the tip of your fully extended hand. So from your navel to your fully extended hand, that is 100%. Now from there up to the tip of your head, it is 61.8, and from your elbow to the tip of your hand, that is 38.2%. Can you see that you are exactly divided into the golden numbers? So the next thing that I want to look at is the Fibonacci of a human face. Let's go to Google. Let's Google again. Fibonacci of the human face, so you can see where how this makes sense. Fibonacci of the human face. Then you see that everything is organized in this number. Let's have a look at the images. Now, if you look at this face, look at this face. This face is divided into Fibonacci spirals. Remember, the Fibonacci spirals are made from the golden rectangle. The golden rectangle is made from the golden mean or the golden ratio. So this is your Fibonacci spiral. You see, from the top of your lip to your chin, you had to be organized in this number. So your chin is located exactly at a golden rectangle. Now, to locate the start of your nose, it has to be another spiral, you see. So from your nose to your eyes, you have another spiral. So everything, now if we needed to locate the ear, we'll have another golden spiral here. If we needed to locate where your tip of your hair should start, we'll look at the bigger golden spiral. So every position of every human body part is in the golden spiral. Okay, so that is all the 0.618 number that we see there. Now, the last thing I want to discuss is what if we did not have the 0.618 and the 1.618 order? So let's have a look, see if we can have some examples of what would happen if we didn't have, if we didn't have the 1.618. Let me clear all of this. Let's see some examples of what would have happened if we did not have this. So this is a typical example of what would happen if your face or anything in nature is arranged randomly. This is a perfect face in Fibonacci spirals, rectangles, and the golden mean. Now, if we did not have that, look at the type of faces that we're going to have. This is obviously, according to what we know as normal, abnormal, because it is not arranged. There is no specific arrangement. There is no order that is being followed here. The universe is not following any law here. So that is why everything had to be organized. Now, if everything in life, and you can think of anything, if you just go to Google and think of anything that comes to mind. For example, Fibonacci of Africa, of the map of Africa, Fibonacci of Africa, anything that comes to your mind, like literally anything. So let's have a look at what this will look like. Look at the map of Africa. It is in a Fibonacci spiral. Next one, Fibonacci of a pineapple, Can you see that there is order? Now, who told the pineapple that it must be arranged in Fibonacci spirals? Let's have a look at this one. Can you see the pineapple here? Let's get the images of the pineapple. You'll see that there is a specific arrangement. Look at that. These are spirals. These are Fibonacci spirals. You've got these spirals going this way. You've got spirals going this way. Spirals going this way. Now you also have spirals going the other direction as well. Now look at all these pineapples, all of them. And it's not only pineapples. Anything you can think of has got a specific order, organized in an order. Now, if everything in life is organized like that, what about the Forex chart? Okay, Temba just said Fibonacci of Trump. Let's do that. Trump Fibonacci. Trump hairstyle Fibonacci. Fibonacci. So Temba is saying this because he's seen our course. We discussed this. Now, even the famous president's hairstyle, it's not just random. He goes in front of his mirror and combs his hair, and all of a sudden, his hair is in a Fibonacci spiral. I mean, the ear is so obvious to everyone. You can see it is obviously in a Fibonacci spiral. Look at the hairstyle. It is in a Fibonacci spiral. Okay, so everything in life is organized in spirals. So the same way that we do in the Forex chart, we respect these levels. Okay, so if you look at pound US dollar that we looked at last week, let's have a look at pound US dollar. It reversed exactly at the 0.618. After we got those trades to the upside, and I'm going to do the trade recaps just now. After we got those trades to the upside last week with the news, this is what happened. You will see that exactly at the 0.618, let me switch off here. Exactly at the 0.618, if you go take your Fibonacci retracement tool, and you take it from here to there, you'll see that the pound pairs, or the pound US dollar, reversed exactly at the 0.618 number. Now, a lot of us use the 0.618 without understanding where it comes from and the significance. If you understand, obviously, I've just spent only 15 minutes explaining where this comes from. There's a whole lot more that we discuss in the course. We spend a whole day discussing Fibonacci, the right way of using the Fibonacci tools, where that comes from. So you see that the pound reversed exactly at the 0.618. We traded it, the pound, from here. The theme for last week or the week before last was how the interbank market works. Oh no, last week it was fundamentals versus technicals. So you saw that there was fundamental news and then it just pushed up higher. We were able to trade this because we knew where the sequence was going. So that is the importance of the 0.618 number. This number is very powerful, and not only the 0.618. Most know how to use the 0.618 as a retracement, but what you don't know is that the 1.618 is just as powerful as an extension. The 1.618 is just as powerful as an extension, and we'll show you some of the examples as we go along with the trade, with the market recaps, as to how the 1.618 is so powerful. Now, let's have a look at some of the trade recaps. I was looking at this one just before we started the webinar. I was looking at USDJPY. USDJPY, this is the daily that I posted in our group. Let me just check the date, in August. Now, this is when we were here, and USDJPY is now around these levels, and we're expecting it to now reach that target. Okay, so that is, let's have a look at the rest of the trade recaps. We're just gonna go through them quickly. And I'm gonna give you one setup, one trade of the week for next week, which is US dollar chief. That should hopefully be your Christmas present. If it plays out, it looks good. So let's look at the rest of the pairs. Let's look at the rest of the pairs. So today's webinar is not going to be long. It is the last one for the year, and it's a short week next week. We've got the Christmas Day and the Boxing Day on the 26th. So we're not going to take so long. That's why I've spent a bit of time explaining to you where the 0.618 comes from. Now let's have a look at some of the trade recaps. So we've looked at this last week as well. I keep saying yesterday because we've got daily webinars in our group. So let's have a look here. So this was the pound pairs that I was referring to that we traded last week. What you see there is pound chief. See, there's something on the chat box. There's something on the chat box. Oh yeah, so Patrick was just saying the Fibonacci part was interesting. I'm glad you find it interesting. So if you understand that, that's how you're going to understand how wave analysis works, because there's a clear relationship between Fibonacci and Elliott Wave, and you cannot trade the Elliott Wave theory without understanding the Fibonacci theory. That's why we spend a whole day, a whole module is dedicated on the Fibonacci theory in the course. Now let's have a look at this one. This is all based on the sequence and the cycles that we look at in when trading the Elliott Wave theory. So this is pound chief just before the news. That's what happened. You see it push up right up for 300 pips. This was a pound yen. We started it here 3 weeks before the news. We would have known what the news would have been. The vote, the Brexit vote would have been 3 weeks back. We wouldn't have known, but the charts were telling us already what was going to happen. This is still US dollar JPY saying that it was going to push up like that, and it eventually pushes up higher, like exactly as we had predicted. This is how it eventually played out. This is how it eventually played out. And just before the news, an hour before the news, this was the setup, and this was painless. This was painless trade, as you can see, upside setup, and then it just rockets up for 420 pips within an hour. Very quick profits there. This was a pound US dollar that has now reversed from these levels, over 500 pips reversal from the 61. You see that is what happened. We had another setup just before the news, an hour before the news. After the news, 300 pips propels up like that. This is pound New Zealand. I've been saying pound New Zealand has been the trade of the week for the past 4 weeks. And eventually on Newsday, we got this move to the upside. It actually went one down as we forecasted, and we made this corrective structure and then pushed up higher like that. And this is exactly how it played out. As you can see there, that is pound New Zealand. Now this one was CHFJPY, just showing you how the sequences work and how we focus this in the group. So you'll see this, these are all posted in our group, and we discuss them on videos daily. This is CHFJPY. You see how CHFJPY played out. This was another setup. As it was setting up, we're updating it. And as it was also setting up, giving us a correction. And eventually we got the trade to the upside. And this is AUDJPY, painless trade straight to target, as you can see. This was New Zealand JPY. This was after I said correlation. Watch out for the yen pairs. They're going to push up higher regardless of the structure. You can watch the videos. That is how they played out. That is New Zealand pushing higher as expected. Now this is CADJPY, also based on the yen pairs pushing higher correlation. So you cannot just trade the theory itself without understanding correlation. This is how that played out, exactly how it played out. So you need correlation. You also need the indicator that we use. We also have a special seminar on the use of our indicator. This is a forecasting tool. It's not a trading tool. So to trade, we use the indicator combined with the cycles and the sequence. This was EURJPY, also pushed up higher as expected. This was one setup, another one, and then eventually played up to target. This is gold. Now gold has now pushed lower up to this level. We are now looking for this. Corrective structure to play out. I will update the corrective structure just now with the market analysis. That is how gold played out. Obviously, we know that this has now done this, and it is now still going sideways. We'll update that. That is gold. Let's look at the rest. Silver, the same, has not quite played out as we wanted to. This was silver on the daily, silver continuing, and this is Euro New Zealand playing out to target over 400 pips there. CADJPY, this was also just before the news a month back. This was in October. You see how it played out straight to target. Now, this was a EURCAD before the news, straight to target. USDCAD before the news, straight to target. It also went to target. And that is how we trade this. And in between, we do have some that we don't get right, and I do share them every now and then when we do get those ones wrong. So this is forecasting. There's difference between forecasting and trading, and that is how we trade. And that is the benefit that you get from being in our Slack group. You get these updates on a daily basis. And like I said, from the beginning of January, the whole system changes. You don't get 2 years mentorship, you get 6 months after that. Okay, so let's get started with this week's analysis. We're not going to spend a lot of time. I'm going to look at first the trade of the week. If you watched last week's video on USDJPY, I said, not only just last week, the last 3 weeks as it was coming down here, I said, watch for one more down here because this is going to reverse. I'm expecting a reversal here. I even said we're going to expect, let's expect a V pattern here because I'm expecting at least a move back here. That move could potentially even go back to this level. So what you need to look out for, let's go to the 4 hour. It has not confirmed as yet, but it looks very good for the trade in the next week. So what you're going to wait for on USDJPY, please mark this one, Mike, as a trade of the week. This is the last setup that I'm leaving you with. If you get a corrective structure here on USDJPY, you are going to look for a trade at least to break the previous high here. We already have this one as a setup in our group, so I'm giving it to you for free as well. If it plays out, you should have a Merry Christmas. Let's just go to trade setup so you can see what it looks like. We already posted this one way before the current up move that you see. Remember, we discussed this one last week. This was the one here. We discussed this one way before that happened. As you can see, we're looking at this one to be giving us a diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4. We're looking for the 5, which we've got now, and we've now got the impulsive move to the upside. What you're waiting for now is a corrective structure here. Unfortunately, if this setup or confirms triggers during the week, I don't get to update you guys, but rather we update the guys that are in our group when to take the trade. We'll be looking for this to go to the upside if it plays out. Okay, so let's look at the rest of the pairs. We'll go through them quickly. We'll start with the cryptos, Bitcoin. Let's start with Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin, we are simply looking for this. Let's look at the overall structure. This is what I do every week. I need to show you the higher degree structure, and then we'll go through the lower degree for the rest of the crypto pairs. So what you see here is what I've been showing you every week for the last couple of weeks. So you've got 1, you've got 2, you've got 3, you've got 4, you've got 5. The 5 is not complete as yet. We're looking for a WXY structure there. That is a W, the first 3 waves, X, 1, 2, 3, Y, 1, 2, 3, X, 1, 2, we're still looking for a 3. 1, 2, 3 has already played out. 1, 2, 3 has already played out. Now we're getting this last one here, the last 3 to push higher, and then the move to the downside, so we can get this Z. So what we're essentially looking for is WXY, XZ. So this is playing out perfectly. If you want to take the screenshot and study this pair on your own, let me show you what the labeling looks like here. You can go and study this and see if you agree with the analysis and how you're looking at the pair, or if it's just for learning, you can look at this. You can take a snapshot of this and go study it. Okay, so that is Bitcoin. So what are we looking for in the lower degree? In the lower degree on the 4 hour, we're looking for a slight push to the upside. Slight push to the upside. If you remember last week, I said this is the expectation for last week. Last week, we were saying that this one should push back up here and then come down here. So we didn't get the move to the upside. Instead, it just went straight down. It does not change the structure at all, because in any case, if it had played out with one more move to the upside, it would have just simply made 1, 2, 3, came down here to retest the low here as we wanted anyway, and then we were going to have 1, 2, 3. So it doesn't matter whether it pushed up higher as we expected or not. What it has done here is simply just make a structure. So when I show you an alternative, guys, I'm not showing you that it's going to go high or up or down. I'm showing you that the correction that it is forming may take a different form, but the overall direction or the primary direction will remain the same. Right? So an alternative which I see most Elliott wavers using incorrectly is when they project a move to the upside and then another one to the downside. That does not help at all. You need to have a specific move. It may play out differently with the correction, because it's a bit challenging to focus the corrections, but the primary direction should be one. I cannot be coming here and saying, okay, this is coming down, but maybe we can come down, or maybe we can come go to the downside. That is not forecasting. That is not analysis. That is guesswork. You're trying to be right. And talking about being right, we'll talk about that when we go to oil. There's somebody who made a comment on last week's video that I was dead wrong on oil. That is okay. It is okay to be wrong. Remember, the business that we're in here is not the one to be right or wrong. We're in the business of making money. We want to find setups that enables us to see the structure clear enough to trade it in order to make money. I don't care if I'm right or wrong. Okay, it doesn't matter whether I'm right or wrong, as long as I'm able to make money. I could have been wrong here that we didn't get the move to the upside, but I'm not trading this. What am I trading? I'm trading this move to the upside. I'm also trading this move to the downside. These are the moves that I'm looking for. I could get the correction wrong, but I'm not trading within the correction. I'm looking for these big moves. Okay, so that is why you saw the pound pace, all those big moves we catch. It doesn't matter what happens with these small moves, and as those people who trade 15-minute chart, it's useless. Okay, because the lower the time frame, the harder it is to project the moves. So this is what we're looking at Bitcoin. You will be looking at this one push to the upside to take the top here, and then we come back lower again to complete the Z, and then we'll be looking for this. Now let's look at the rest of the cryptos. Ethereum here. Looking at Ethereum, you'll be looking at the same thing. You'll be looking for this, possibly do that, push one more up, and then come down, follow Bitcoin. And just to show you the higher degree structure on Ethereum, show you the labeling there on Ethereum. You've got 5-wave move to the downside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a correction here in B. And what we're looking at here is a possible diagonal, because this has to be 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, possible 4, and a 5 before we get to the, we got a bigger correction here. So that's what we're looking at on Ethereum. You can see that it's starting to do that. We should get a pullback here. If it's going to go lower again, then that's fine. We're going to get the move to the upside like that. But for now, the moves that we're looking for is this one. Now, looking at the rest of the cryptos, Litecoin. Just looking at the lower degree now. Let's go to the 4-hour. 4-hour, you can see that you've got a bit of a setup there for this to push a little bit higher. Okay, so this should be pushing a little bit higher. Confirm, all indicators are confirming that we're going to have a bit of a push higher on Litecoin at market open. It's already confirmed for upside, but the question is, how far will that go? How far will that go? Let's have a look here in the daily. Yes, we've got a setup, but we need to know how far that will go. So that may not go very far. So let's just focus the move at least back here. That's the move that we'll be focusing on Litecoin. All indicators are showing that this is going to pull back, at least a pullback to the upside there on Litecoin. Ripple, this is making a corrective structure. Should make a 3-wave pullback before one more down. Okay, now looking at the indices, S&P 500 is playing out exactly as we focused it. You can take a snapshot of this and see what we're expecting. I don't have to explain this again. We've already shown that we are in wave 4, we're looking for a wave 5. We've got 1, 2, we've got 3, and a 4, and a 5, and we've got a lower degree, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So at some point, you're going to have a 4 pullback, and then another last one to the upside. You're going to have a lower degree 4 pullback, and then another one to the upside. So you're going to keep getting this one pushing higher. Every time you get deeper corrective structures, you push, you buy it to the upside. Every time you get a deeper one, you buy it to the upside. So the S&P 500, the other indices, we're still looking for quite more upside there. Okay, so there's still a lot of upside on the indices. The Dow will be the same as well. Okay, so we were initially looking at the diagonal, but we've changed this view when we saw that the diagonal was being violated. So it's all the same. So 1, 2 there, and you've got an internal degree 1 with a 2 there. So that's a 1, that's a 2. We're now at 3. We're looking at 3. We just need 4, 5. Then we're going to have 4, 5 in yellow. So you keep buying every time you get corrective structures. NASDAQ is the same. I'm not going to go into details, like I said. So NASDAQ is the same structure. We are currently in the red wave 3. We're currently in the red wave 3, and the red is like this. We've got 1, we've got a regular flat there, running flat rather, like that, 1, 2, 3, and we are now in wave 3. So this is 1, this is 2. We're looking for a 3. We're going to have 4 at some point. We started with 1 and the 2. So that's how this is going. Okay, so that is the NASDAQ. Now let's look at UK 100. The UK 100 also pushing higher. Okay, we thought it was going to push a little bit lower here, but instead it's now started a move here. So this is telling us that this is a 3-wave move to the downside, and we've started a new 3-wave move to the upside. Let's switch off this so we can be clear here. We've got a move to the upside like that. And here we pulled back in 3 waves. We pulled back in 3 waves, and we're starting a new move to the upside. We see that we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. It looks like we're going to start another 1, 2. We're going for a 3 here, 4, 5. And that will give you ABC structure there. So what you're looking for is this, for this to keep pushing higher to go and give you the structure there. But remember, this is a very simple forecast. The market does not move this simple. What could possibly happen is this. We're still looking for that ABC in yellow, but it could play out like this. So you've got 1, 2, 3 takes the top here, comes back down, whether it's an impulse or 3 waves, and you still get your 5 waves here. See, not in yellow, but the 5 waves in red. But what is that structure? It is still an ABC. It's just that the B has come to this level and has now made a different corrective structure. So that is the only thing that could change. It can be that this is all the 3 waves and it's going to go, or rather we can take here and come back for a flat and then push up higher. But after overall structure is still to the upside. And that is what I mean by alternative. It doesn't mean a different direction or a different view, because that couldn't just be confusing. I don't think you can make profit if you just focused it either up or down with different alternatives. You're always going to be focused in both directions, which does not help. You need to find the primary direction, the primary sequence, and know where the market is going. So that is the UK 100, the DAX. Let's look at the DAX. The DAX is still pushing higher. It's clear. Just keep pushing higher after this 3-wave pullback, which we saw last week as well. It's still pushing higher. That is the DAX. The Nikkei also pushed up higher from this level, indicated this corrective structure last week, and now we've pushed up higher like that. Now this is not going down as yet. It is still pushing higher. We're still looking for more upside. Now let's see how far this current move can possibly go on the Nikkei. This move is currently at the 100% here. It has a potential to go as far as the 1,618 here. Okay, so watch. If you get a corrective structure here and we break above the blue box which is here, we are going to go further upside. We're going to get a further upside up to at least the 1,618. Okay, up until the 1,618. So you've got 1, 2, 3 there, and there's a possibility that we get a 3-wave pullback there. So just watch out for the corrective structure there on the Nikkei. Nifty, we've played out that running flat and we are breaking above it. So all the indices, including the Nifty from India, We saw this running flat a couple of weeks back, and now it has broken above it. That means it's opening further upside. So even if you see this happening, guys, in a pullback like this, doesn't mean it's reversing. You're still going to get more upside. The fact that we've broken the top here means we are getting further upside. We've opened further upside on the Nifty. Okay, so those are the indices. Now, let's look at the US dollar pairs. US dollar pairs, for the first time in a long time, Euro US dollar has got a very interesting setup, very clear setup. Now, Euro US dollar correction here, you're looking for it to come and take the low here. I am on the daily here. You should have already got this one here at the top. If you saw the last week's video, I detailed exactly how this one was going to reverse right at this top. And that is exactly what has happened. If you watch last week's video, you'll see that. Let's look at the 4-hour. Now for the trade. We saw this one during our daily analysis. I showed this structure on Tuesday during our daily analysis in our group, that this was going to be the setup. It was another correction. Now, if you've missed it here, you have to wait for a deeper correction. Obviously, you need to have the indicator that we have. I don't know what system you guys use, but we've got a specific indicator that tells us if it's time. If you missed it here, can you ride the trend? The indicator will tell you whether to continue with the trend or whether you just let it go if you are too late. So here we're looking for this one to continue up to this level. Yes, there's a possibility it may go all the way down here, but what we're focusing is that we're going to have a move down to that level, and there's a possibility that it does this. Now, there's a likelihood that because you are holding it here, you can move into break even and also watch if it does not come to the second low here and still do this. And if that happens, the second option is simply going to make a flat correction. Okay, first option is going to make a zigzag like this. Still the same. 1, 2, 3. But essentially, you can see the structure is still one. If this is the upside trade you're looking for, you'll still get it. This is still the same trade. Now, for now, we are looking for this to come down. If you see any signs of reversal there, you get the trade to the upside. Any signs of reversal there, you get that trade. That's how you trade this. So we're looking for the Euro US dollar to play out like that. That's what you're looking for. That's your trade for the week. You're looking for it to drop there. Euro yen is also similar. You'll see when you get to Euro yen, is also coming down to retest this level. That is Euro US dollar, pound US dollar. Last week, after the pound pairs pushed up higher, I expected them to come down in 3 waves, but instead they've come down in 5 waves. So that changes slightly the structure. So last week we were here, they made these big moves, big pullbacks. So I said, expect this move to the downside and possibly do that, and then continue to the upside. But what has happened now is that we've made 5-wave moves to the downside. So if we've made 5-wave moves, we need to get a 3-wave pullback at least. So if you get a 3-wave pullback, it means we're still going to have further downside. But remember, this downside is not a reversal because we've gone up in 5 waves. So this is only normal that we correct with a bigger move. We have 1, 2, clear, 4, 5. So it is only natural that you get a deeper corrective structure here. Whether this becomes a flat or a zigzag, it doesn't matter. This can even go back to the 61% before continuing higher. So there's nothing wrong with this move on the pound pairs. I did mention that you need to have a specific strategy to take the trades, because you could get a 500 pullback. Would you be able to take a 500 pullback? For example, if you are looking your target, which is our target on the pound pair, on this pound US dollar, we are looking for it to go up to this level. Obviously, you cannot, it's difficult to hold it from here up to here. Okay, that's over 2,000 pips from here. So you need to keep taking it piece by piece. So for now here, if we get this one to pull back here and then we get this setup, we'll take the trade to the upside. So you could find that this even does this, goes sideways, and makes a structure similar to this before going to the upside. So that is all normal. You need to expect all of that. So for now, we're not going to sell. We're not going to buy. We're only going to sell if we get a pullback here, because we're going to get a move that is equivalent to this one before we continue to the upside. That's what you're looking at on pound, US dollar, US dollar CAD, US dollar CAD. You're simply waiting for it to come and take this low. Then you can get this structure here. Take the low, get the structure here. Then after that, you're gonna have something like this. Let's use yellow here. 1, 2, and a possible 3 here before I move to the upside. Okay. So that's US dollar CAD. US dollar chief, we already discussed. Trade of the week. Watch where we did it in the beginning. We started with this one. I'm not gonna repeat. Audi, US dollar. Let's go to the 4 hour. Audi, US dollar. I'm expecting a move like this before going to the upside. We've made a 3-way move to the upside. There's something on the chat box. Let me just read. You just handed me my certificate with the GBP pairs analysis. I don't know what you mean by certificates, Tamandla. I know you're in our group. I'm just happy that you enjoyed those analyses. 3-way move to the upside. And we're looking for this one to possibly pull back. Could even take the low here and then continue with the move to the upside. But for now, there's no clear structure here. This can do that. Let's switch this off. Just expect Audi US dollar to continue to come take the top here. New Zealand, possibility for this to come down here and up. We're just focusing this correction and then upside. US dollar ZAR. Overall in US dollar ZAR on the daily, the structure, the overall outer higher degree structure is playing out as forecasted from way back in July. 1, 2, 3. We're going for that Y. So if you look at this, you can study the analysis there. We have got 3 waves down in blue, 3 waves up in blue. Now we're looking for 3 waves down in blue to complete the Y. Now this can also come down with an impulse, which will be okay. It will just change the labeling. So US dollar ZAR, you're looking for continuation patterns to the downside. Okay, so let's run through the yen pairs. Pound yen playing out the same way as the rest of the pound pairs, coming down in 5 waves. So you're gonna expect a 5-wave pullback, not a 3-wave pullback. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one could still be making the last one here before we get the 3-wave pullback. It is not gonna be this deep, simply this deep. This can simply go sideways. Okay, it can go sideways before continuing lower and then upside. Rest of the US dollar yen pairs, I've shown you US dollar yen. Let's go to the daily. I showed you the chart I posted way back in, when was that? Let's just have a look here. I wanna see on US dollar JPY. The current move to the upside on US dollar JPY, we focused it way back. And I did a detailed analysis on what I think US dollar yen is gonna do. So you see here, you could go study this chart as well, just pause the video and look at what we're looking at here. We're currently here, around here. Looks like we're about to push up higher to target now. Let's see how we're gonna push up higher to that target. So this is US dollar JPY. On the daily, we're looking at this as a diagonal. That's a diagonal. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And then you correct with a flat. So now what you have there, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in yellow becomes A. 1, 2, 3 becomes B. Now you're looking for a C. That's how we're going to get to that target, weekly, daily target that I posted way back in October. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You've got a setup for upside here on US dollar JPY. Only makes sense because also the euro US dollar in correlation is coming down. So let's have a look here. We should still pull back here. We should still pull back some more. Not ready to go up yet. Let's go for hour. So on the 4 hour, what you're looking at here is that this corrective structure has made a 3-way move. We're starting with this one here. This one closing above here, then you can take the trade to the upside. Okay, so could be a potentially nice one going together with a US dollar chief. So US dollar strength in the next coming session. Watch out for this one if you wanna study the analysis. That's there. So let me just take this one out here. Need to take this one out here so it can be clear. So you've got A, B. So your B is this flat correction here. Now talking about the 1,618 and how powerful the 1,618 is as well, you'll see that this current correction is currently happening after 1, 2, 3, and it's happening at the 1,618, and this is 1, 2 to the 3 that we're looking for here. That is how powerful the 1,618. There's a whole lot of reactions that happens in the 1,618 and the 0.618 as well. Running through the rest of the pairs, euro yen. Structurally, you're looking for this to pull back. If you get a pullback, decent correction, you're taking it back to 119. That is euro yen, chief yen. The same, you'll be taking it back at least to this level to make this 1, 2, 3, back to around 111 to complete the flat correction there. We'll look for it to continue higher. Audi, you could have this one as a expanding flat coming down here and continuing higher. New Zealand, the same, you've got a three-way move down. You could have another three-way move here, a little bit of a push higher, downside, and then continuation to the upside. Still correcting, no new trade there. CAD, now CAD pushing higher, looks like it has completed this expanding, running flat rather, and it's gonna push a little bit further to the upside. Now CAD, you need to see the daily. You'll see the daily on CAD. We are looking for further upside. We're looking for it to push to the upside. So it can pull back for one, or it can continue from here. Either way, we wait for one that confirms. All right. Now I'm just running through this quickly. Silver, no change. Let's just update silver and gold. Now, silver and gold structure will only change if this current correction becomes bigger than this one. So if this is a corrective structure, if this current one becomes bigger than this one, then the structure is going to change. But for now, it is still quite the right size. We're still expecting this one to come down for one last move to the downside, the same way it did with 1, 2, 3. So this structure size of that is the same as this. So that's what we want, for this to drop here, get a move to the downside into the blue box, and then at least a bigger pullback, if not the passing move to the upside. So we're still waiting for that one to drop. Nothing has changed in terms of the analysis. Remember, we had this one here, we wanted it to come down here, and when it made this one here, we also thought that it was a three-way move and we're going to come down. But now we can see clearly that we've got a expanding flat there. Let's see now if we start getting signs of reversal. If it changes the structure, it changes, then we're going to update it. But for now, that's what we're expecting. We want this move. That is the trade there. Break below that, that's the trade to the downside. Same with gold. Gold as well, you're simply looking at the structure that looks like a triangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could be at the 5 now and we're looking for one more down. We just want this structure to be smaller than this one. As long as it's smaller than this one, we're still fine. It should be the same size as this. So that is still fine because that is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. We are looking for this. Okay, so no changes in terms of the view between silver and gold. Now running through the pound pairs, they've all come down in 5 waves. We're simply waiting for them to give us 3-wave pullbacks before continuing lower. Pound Audi. Now Pound Audi has made also a big move to the downside. We're going to get to the downside. Now Pound Audi, remember, we are in a big long-term corrective structure, which I've shown 2 views here. One is that, let's show this. One is that this is the overall corrective structure, and we're going to have 1, 2, and a 3. So this will be looking at this as a complex structure here. with 1, 2, 3. Okay, either that or we're looking at a double XYZ. If we're looking at a double XYZ, we're looking at this 3 waves up, 3 waves back, 3 waves up, 3 waves back, and this means that pound AUD has completed its move here, and we're going to get a big move to the downside. Now we're going to see if that is the move that we're getting. Obviously, when we get a setup, a pullback here, we're going to take this trade. And if this is going to be the move that goes all the way, we're going to hold it to break even and get all the way to the downsides. So that's what you have on pound AUD. Pound New Zealand. So pound New Zealand, if you look at this structure here, you've got a move here in the middle, a clear 3-way move here that's doing this. So with pound New Zealand, you could be coming down here with the move back here. Now that will make 1, 2, 3. That will make a 3-way move to the upside and another move like that. Okay, so we still need to come down first. So let's see how far we're going to come down with the pound pace. CAD, we've made a pulsing move to the downside, so we just need to see what structure we're going to get. This could potentially be a running flat here. Let's see when we get the pullback, what structure we're going to get there. Not clear on pound CAD, the rest is clear. Euro pound, we're coming to the euro pairs now. Now, euro pound, we have been spot on with this one. If you look at this one here, you've got a complex corrective structure in the middle. 1, 2, 3, right there, and then we've got what looks like a pullback here, because the pound pairs where the pound is a base are pushing to the downside. This one should continue pushing to the upside. Will it do this? If it does that, that means the pound pairs are making the moves to the downside and the structure is going to change. But here the structure is clear. It's A, B, C. Okay, perfect ABC structure with a lower degree ABC structure like that. A, B, C, and your B here is these 3 waves. Okay, in purple. So this is a perfect structure. If you get an entry point here, that is when the pound pairs will be dropping and the euro pound will be pushing higher. EURJPY, this on the weekly. Let's go back to the daily. So EURJPY could actually start a move to the upside from current levels. So we've got 1, 2, 3 there. Let it pull back down there. 1, 2, could do that, and then we drop like that. Let's see if I've got the labeling for that. I've just indicated with the arrow. So EURJPY, expect continuation to at least take the low here. Only then can we expect a move to the upside and then downside. That is EURJPY, Euro New Zealand, continuation to the downside. I've shown why Euro New Zealand should continue lower after this 3-wave pullback. Let's check if we've got any divergence. The divergence is being invalidated, so we are still going to continue lower. We're still going to continue lower here because the structure that you're looking for on the Euro New Zealand is this. We have made a 1, 2, 3-wave move to the upside. Now we're looking for a move to the downside like that. So this move is coming down impulsively. So every corrective structure, you keep buying it because that is the move that you are looking for. Should come and break the low here. We're still quite far from that. So if you get a nice setup, you can still get a setup with a good risk to reward ratio there. Okay, so that is Euro New Zealand, Euro AUD. Euro AUD should push lower down here, and we make this move. Watch it. It will do this structure. So taking the low here should bounce back up and make this 1, 2, 3-wave structure before coming down. So those blue lines are the structure. That's Euro AUD, EURCAD. EURCAD should potentially, let me just show you this one here in the lower degree. We have got here a 3-wave move to the upside. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. And potentially here we've got 1, 2. We should come down here with 3. We should possibly get another structure here as I've indicated as A, another three-way move to complete that before coming down. So that will be that upside and then downside. Should actually remove the yellow, the right degree is the purple there. So we just put on the purple. That's 3 waves up, 3 waves back, possible 3 waves up before coming down. But this one should pull a little bit lower before coming down. That is a EURCAD, some of the cross pairs. Let's switch off there. We're looking for this one to have made a 3-wave move down and that it was going to come down, but we see a pullback here, so we should be making a double here. Let's see here. Push back to this level. It's not a small move. We are on the daily chart here. So this move, if you get a setup, it's actually a nice trade to the upside. So, but eventually we should get this move to the downside. For now, just look for this to come take the top. Audi New Zealand. Audi New Zealand. This is not a reversal. It's a simple 3-wave pullback. We are still going to continue lower, just like Euro New Zealand. CADJPY, still very messy now. We've got a move up here. This one is correcting. It should give us move down, a correction, and a move to the upside. So you cannot trade this. It is still correcting. You'd rather wait for it to do that. Okay, you'd rather wait for this move to the downside or this one to the upside, because that will do the 3-way move to the upside. That is CADJPY, AUDJPY. AUDJPY, like EURCAD, we're looking for this structure to break to the downside. We should get one more down here. I'm not going to detail the structure. I'm going to do that in the next year. New Zealand CAD, the same, but this one keeps pushing higher. Here you just want a deeper pullback. If you get something back to the 50% of this move, you're going to take it all the way back up for 1,000 pips. So for now, just leave this one until you get a deeper pullback, at least to the 50%. Then you'll ride this one to the top. New Zealand CHF, similar to New Zealand CAD, we want a deeper pullback to the 50% of this. Okay, then we'll ride this for a long time. Now, oil, as I mentioned, oil. Somebody made a comment on oil that I was dead wrong on oil, and I did say that there's nothing wrong with being wrong when you're doing the markets. The important thing is how much money you make with your analysis. Now, I have been focusing oil in a number of ways on this primary moves. On this primary move, I first looked at this one to be potentially making a WXYZ. Let's look at the 4-hour. Let's look at the 4-hour and see what the current view is. Now, initially, we were looking at this as a move, 3-way move to the upside, 3, 4, 5, and expecting that the Z would have ended here. Then we changed the view as we saw this one pushing up here, that this was potentially going to be another move here. And then we're going to now look at this as a W, X, Y, X, and then a Z. Okay, so my view currently on oil is this. Now, I may have been wrong with this forecast, but the important thing is that when you trade, you are spot on. Now, I am expecting that the current move on oil will at least have a deeper pullback at current levels, and this is my structure here. My structure is that I'm looking at this to have made 3-way moves to the upside and another 3-way moves to the upside from there. Now, in the middle here, you've got a corrective structure, 1, 2, 3, running flat in the higher degree. So I've got 3 up, 3 back, and 3 up. Can I now, we've got this right in the blue box, this right in the blue box now on oil. But as far as our indicator is concerned, we have not got a confirmation as yet. We will get the confirmation once you start correcting here. Then we'll confirm if the reversal on oil is going to start here. Maybe not pull back all the way, but maybe just around this level or the 50% of this level. But the view is still the same, that this is a corrective structure on oil, and we're going to come back and retrace. Okay, So there's nothing wrong with being wrong as far as the analysis is concerned. The nice thing about this strategy is that I focused and the indicator confirms. If it does not confirm, I don't take the trade. And that's how we stay out of a lot of the wrong trades. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to hit and like the videos. This is the last webinar for this year. It's been great. I hope you made lots of money. If you're not trading yet, I hope you've learned something. I will see you guys next year. Happy holidays and have a prosperous new year. See you next year. Cheers everybody. Bye-bye.